And so I call this one anchor zero because I think of this one as kind of fundamental to the whole year, right? It's not specific just to cells. It's kind of generic to everything. It says, describe characteristics of life shared by all prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. And so there's a couple of things here that we should identify, okay? And so the key word here is all, okay? So all life, that includes bacteria and humans and giant trees, right? And paramecia and all kinds of life, okay? All life does these things. First of all life is made of cells. All life is made of cells. So even the simplest organisms are at least one cell, okay? The second thing is that all life responds to stimuli. If you find something stimulating, right, it affects you, right? And you're able to respond usually by action or thoughts, right? So this is the ability that life has to respond to stimuli. Another way of saying this is life is affected by its environment. Maybe we should say affected by environment. And of course, when we start talking about the environment, that has a lot to do with ecology, right? So life is affected by its environment. As genetic material, what would that genetic material be? You guys know, what's that polymer called?
DNA.
So all life has DNA as part of it. Oops. There's Canyon. Hey, Canyon. We're just in the KB-3. Oh, you're here in the room. What kind of fool am I? Okay. So all life is made of cells. All life is affected by its environment. All life has genetic material. All life does metabolism. Now, metabolism is just a fancy word for chemical reactions. So all life has chemical reactions inside of it. All life maintains homeostasis. Remember, this means keeping the same internal conditions, like our body temperature. We always want our body temperature to be around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, right? That's an example of homeostasis. And then lastly, all populations, so when we talk about evolution, remember, it's not just individuals, but all populations evolve. And what that means is they change genetically with time. Okay? And really, this is what we talked about all year, right? If you look, these are all the units that we did this year, right? We talked about cells, we did the cell unit. We talked about the environment and how life is affected by other life forms and by their environment. We talked about a lot about DNA and how it allows information to be passed from one generation to the next. We talked a lot about metabolism, right, and chemical reactions and how enzymes are tools that make reactions happen. We talked a lot about homeostasis and how our bodies control what gets in and out. And lastly, we talked about how populations can evolve, right? When organisms die, that's evolution, right? When organisms reproduce, that also creates evolution. Okay, we'll just stop right here for a moment and let's